Thank you. I guess I am live. Hi everyone. I want to welcome you to this live stream. In this live presentation, I'm gonna go over the basics. The first simple basic concept of the CSS grid layout. So it took me a while to start comprehending the concept. I've been reading a lot about it. It's not an easy concept, but it's very helpful. It will help you arrange elements on a web page and even make them responsive. So in this video, I'm gonna show you. I already did a web page, and let me just stop the music. Okay, so I'm gonna go to my website first to show you. Okay, I'm building this training folder here on my website. This way you can have access to it. And I'm building web pages to explain the concept of HTML, CSS. Just wanna stop the music. Let's see. Remove. Okay, it stopped. And let me make my image smaller. Okay, I guess we should be good to go now. Okay, so this is the an example of the CSS grid layout, and it's gonna be part 1 tutorial. Okay, this is how I built those squares, 8 boxes. This is the HTML web page for this example, and on the top it says this is an example of the grid layout in HTML CSS part 1. Now I want to show you the CSS file that created this output, and it's on the same website. Okay, so this is the CSS file that created the web page I was talking about, this one here. Let me just make it web page, the HTML web page, and this is the CSS file that created this output here on this web page. And I'm looking at my phone, it looks like there's a delay, so I'm gonna slow down. Maybe I shouldn't be talking fast because there is a delay. And if you have any questions, please submit them in the comment box, or I would like you to introduce yourself, add your name in the comment, and where you're tuning in from, and let me know if you can hear me. I'm not sure if you can hear me. You know, I mean, I can hear my phone, but I turned it off to eliminate the echo. So if you can hear me, just type in the comment box, I can hear you, your name, you can hear me, just to make sure you're able to listen and hear me clear. So let's see. Okay, so if we look on the top, this is the background. So I gave it this color, and the way you do it, you add asterisk, like this is the top of the CSS web page. You add the asterisk, then you open the braces and background color, colon, light golden yellow, this color here, and you add semicolon, and then I added the padding 0, margin 0. So it means I don't want any space between the edge of the web page and this box here. And we gave it font weight bold to make the text bold. And the font family, Arial, Helvetica, Sans Serif, and then we close the braces. So this is for the background, for the light blue here you see. And now we go to the title. This is the title here, and this is the CSS code for it, dot title. And we text align, we center it, we gave it a margin the space around it, 10 pixel. We gave it a padding between the text and the container, the parent element, and we gave it color blue, and we gave it a background color gray. This is the background for the text, and so on. And now we can get to the flex box container. So this container here, we gave it in the HTML a container class. Guys, if you're not able to understand exactly what I'm saying, you have to go back to other videos. I have a few videos before which about the HTML CSS. They're introductory, but if you know the basics, you'll be able to understand this. So now we get to the to our subject, the grid layout, how I got this one here, and it's called the grid container, and inside the container you can have the grid items, like elements like this one. So this, if you look at this box, the blue box, this is the grid container, we call it. And those elements, those boxes inside the main box, these are called the grid items. And when we use the codes, the CSS codes, you can change the grid. You can associate it to the grid and the grid items. So looking at, first we give the container a color, which is this one here. This is the and then we align it to the center. We align the content. It means those what, and then this is the first element you have to use when you're trying to create a grid container. First you type in a container. This is the grid container, as I said. Now you use the display colon grid semicolon. You have to use this line display grid. This way you give the system an order that you let the system know that this container, it's gonna be the grid container, and what's inside it are the grid items. And then there's so many attributes, CSS attributes for the grid container, and this is one of them. I can tell you what it does. So you can use grid space template, actually dash template dash column, and then colon. This will tell the grid how you want the column aligned in it. And then you can use pixels, you can use percentages. In this case, I used the unit FR. FR, it means fraction. And what I did, I used, these are, each one represents one column. So this is, I have 4 columns here, 1, 2, 3, 4. And each one is a fraction of the page. So basically, if you add the numbers here, they can give you how many fraction we divided the page. So basically, the system does it automatically. That's what's good about the grid content, the CSS grid. So basically, what we did, the first column, I want it to be 1 fraction. I want the second column to be 2 fraction, double the first one. This is why I gave it 2FR. I want the third one, this one, the third one, I want it to be 4 times 4 fractions. It means 4 times this one. And the last one, column number 4, I want it to be 8 times 8 fractions. It means 8 times the first one. So what we did, we gave this one a unit. It's called the fraction. And this one 2 units. This one is 4. And this one is 8. So basically, those are multiples. They are multiples of the first one. And how the system looks at it, how the browser looks at it, it's gonna divide the whole page into the sum of those. So basically, what the system does here, what the browser, it divides the page into 8 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1. These will make up the whole page. 1, 2, 4, and 8. It means 3 plus 4 is 7. 7 plus 8 is 15. So basically, we divided the page into 15 fractions, and each column we gave it a multiple of the fraction. So the first one we gave it 1 fraction, and these numbers you can use them. You can use any numbers you want. You can use 1 fraction, 5 fraction, and this one, the attribute, the grid template column here, it will decide how many columns you want. You can have 1 column, you can have 2, you can have 3, you can have 4, you can have more, you can have 8. So basically, you're telling the grid how you want, how many columns you want, and how wide they are, how the width of those. In this case, I used the fraction, but you can use pixel and you can use percentages. Now we go down to the grid template row, this attribute here. This will tell the grid how you want, how many row how you want the row assigned. So I gave it 1 FR, 2 FR. It means I gave it 2 row. 2 row going horizontal, and the 1 FR and 2 FR, it means we divided the page, the container, into 3 FRs, and one of the first row is 1 and the second one is 2 times. And you can tell here, this is the row going the horizontal this way on the top of the page, and this is the second row. It's double the width of the first one, and you can see it. If you look at it, you can see it here. So you have 2 rows in a grid. This is the first row horizontal, and this is the second one, and we gave it the thickness of this height is 1 FR, and this one is 2 FR. It means it's gonna be 2 times the first one. So this is this is what's important about the CSS grid layout. You can create a grid container, and in it you can add, you can give it attributes, and you decide how many boxes, how many containers, how many columns you need, and how many row you need, and how you want them, and you can add elements in them. So and then the second one, if you go down, it says here row dash gap. The row dash gap, that's the attribute, 3%. If you want to create a gap between the column or between the row, you can use row gap. The row gap, it means you need to create a gap between the row, the horizontal row going this way. You want a gap, so you use the row gap, and you decide how much you want it. I added 3%. You can use percentages, you can use pixels. And this is the column gap. I want 3%. I want a gap between the column. You see those gaps here? These gaps? Those are represented by the by those attributes. Column gap, padding gap. And then we gave it at the end a padding 5%, and the padding is between the grid items and their container. If you look at this space, this is the padding. This is the padding. So so that's an example. That's the basic, the most basic concept of the CSS grid layout. It took me a while to figure it out, and I read a lot about it, and I built this web page, and I created the CSS for it to make sure it works before I do this presentation. So again, you have it's not an easy concept. You have to build it. The only way to learn it, it doesn't matter how many video you watch. You have to create it yourself. So this is why I have two links. I have the links in the on my website, and if you look in the description of the video on YouTube, you can see two links. Those links, they will give you the codes, this CSS code and the HTML code for this one. So you can download them to your computer, and if you want to try them yourself to see how they work, you just go to the these are on my website, but I added the link to the description of the YouTube channel. So so you can download them, and I recommend you having this Visual Studio Code. This is what I use. It's great. It's one of the best. Everybody recommends it for building web pages and simple. I mean, well, any website. It doesn't have to be simple, but I'm using it myself now. So these are, I uploaded those to my website. So, but this is where I create the HTML and CSS web pages and document for. So I created this training folder, and I uploaded it to my website with those CSS style sheets and the HTML documents. And you can find them on my website. If you go to this link again, if you go to this link, Georgekc.com/training, you can get those. I'm gonna create more tutorials, and from the title you can tell what's the tutorial about, and you can click on it. These are, you know, I have the video presentation on YouTube for those, but in this one here I'm giving you the code. You can download the code and do it yourself on your computer if you want, or read how the code is constructed. And this is the training, and you can go to each one of those if you want. And I gave you the on YouTube here, the if you look at the description of the video, of this video presentation, you can find the links. This is how you get those codes. if you want to create them on your computer. This is the only way to learn. You have to code them on your computer. You have to create the web page. So if you look at the let me see, just want to show you where I have the links on my YouTube channel for the video, for this video. Okay guys, it's right here. If you click on this, you click on this, you cannot go down to the description. If you look in the description of this video, you have two links here. Those links, they can give you, you can download the codes for this presentation, the one I just had now. Those links here, those links. You can go to the description of this video and you can get to this link. This link is for the HTML code, the web page, and this one's for the CSS. You can download both of them to your computer, and you can build the code. And if you have any questions, please let me know. You can add you can submit your questions here, right here on this channel. Just come back or go to my email me if you want. So I hope this video was helpful. So again, I want to thank you for attending, and that was George Chamoun from Georgekc.com, and I create the HTML and CSS video tutorials. I'm learning it myself, but you know, as I learn, I'm making tutorials and I'm explaining on YouTube, and I built an HTML CSS website and I'm adding tutorial. And if you look, this is where the those links, you can access the HTML page that I explained in this video, and you can access the CSS page. And if you want to learn, this is the only way. You have to, you read or you take courses and you watch videos, but you still have to do it yourself. You have to build the code yourself, you know, on your computer. This way, how you learn how to do it. And that's it for video. I'll be hanging out for a few minutes. If you have any questions, please submit them in a comment box here, or let me know if you have any idea about future videos. So I'll be around for a few minutes. if you have any questions, please submit them in a comment here, or if you want to add your enter your name, introduce yourself, and my name is George Chamoun, and I make video tutorials about HTML, CSS, and how to build basic websites. And I make video tutorials about how to use Linux commands. So